Today I have with me author, speaker, podcaster, teacher, mom, and overcomer, Melony Brown. Melony has a passion for igniting a fire in women to empower themselves to become overcomers through faith. Melony has authored 2 books, her debut release, Challenges Won't Stop Me, and her upcoming release, Keep Moving Forward. Both books are part of her Journey On series, interactive survival guides for overcoming and thriving. Hi, Melony. Thank you for being here today.
Hi, thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to this.
Oh, me too. Me too. I'm telling you, I read your first book and I couldn't put it down. Well, that's not true. Sometimes I did have to put it down, and we'll talk about the reasons why later on in the interview, but it was for good reason. It was a chance to process and digest and do the work required to get all the wonderful benefits out of this. Oh my goodness, almost love letter to other overcomers.
Well, I enjoyed writing it. It has been a challenge, pun intended, to work on it. But it's important to talk about overcoming because we can't just stay stuck in the challenges. They're intended to grow us. And if we're stuck there or avoiding going through it or trying to get out of it, then we're missing all the things that God intends for us to grow from during that time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll talk more about my personal journey with that as well later on. But first, what sparked your interest in this message of overcoming?
Well, I'm an overcomer, and I don't say that as a self-proclaimed overcomer. I've had significant health issues all my life, and I've had numerous people tell me, your attitude is amazing, and you just are an overcomer. And I was like, I think I remember reading that word somewhere in the Bible, and it talks about Jesus overcoming the world in John 16:33. And so about almost 11 years ago now, I started interviewing overcomers, and I've interviewed over 150 women on either my stories that are published on my website or on my podcast, because I just find it very interesting to hear people who have gone through challenges and said, I don't like what has happened to me. I don't like this challenge, but it's not going to stop me, and it certainly is not going to defeat me. I'm not giving up. I'm fascinated with people who have that type of attitude. And when I interview these women, I'm interested in their story about the challenge that they face. But more importantly to me is, what lessons did they learn? How did they grow from it? What did they learn about God during those weeks, months, years, however long? And so I find people who have that kind of mindset fascinating.
Yes. Yes. Because for some people, it doesn't come so naturally. For others, it does.
True.
Some of us, we have to go through. Some of this, it's a lesson that we have to learn throughout our lives and learn and relearn.
Well, and challenges are going to happen throughout your life. You're going to have some small ones, some medium ones, and some large ones. And some of them will last a week. Some of them will last a couple of months. And some of them will last years, or like mine is a chronic illness. It will last my entire lifetime. So we need to be prepared. You can't just expect that each challenge is going to be the same. You're going to learn different things each time. So the key to me is being prepared no matter what kind of challenge rudely intersects my path.
And they will.
Yeah, it is rude. Excuse me, that was just rude.
Didn't use a turn signal or anything.
I know, you just like veered on, and I had no idea you were coming.
Exactly. Exactly. And you used a word there that I absolutely love. And it's a word that I always say, once a helper, always a helper. I'm still a licensed counselor, although I haven't provided services since our son was born. But it's part of you that you just can't get out of that mindset as a helper once you are one. But there's a big difference between preparing and planning. And I love that you use preparing, because there's a huge difference. Planning says, oh, okay, I have to try to control everything. I've got to have plans A through F so that, whatever comes my way, I've got a plan and a backup plan. But, well, inevitably, G's going to come along rudely and intercept.
Yes.
What do you do then?
Exactly. So it's more about preparing, and it's preparing with skills and with strategies and habits that it wouldn't matter what kind of challenge.
Yes,
that's the difference. And I like that you're comparing and contrasting those two terms, because I haven't thought about it that way, even though I'm a teacher. But yes, when you're a teacher, you write your lesson plans, and you do know that, if X or Y happens, I've got this extra activity that I could pull out.
Mm-hmm.
But preparing is definitely a different skill altogether.
It is. And preparing says, it says I surrender and I trust, because I've got one source to go back to all the time.
Yes.
It's going to be there and consistent without failing, and his word doesn't change. So I don't have to have the specifics. I just have to have the willingness to surrender.
I think that's fantastic. I love where you're going with that.